Hey guys. So I received a few comments on how to train your pet in Neopets. So there's some new players. This game's been around for a while, but it just shows why it's been around for a while because it spans all ages and it's simple enough to understand and has enough stuff to do that you could be playing it for 20 something years. So I wanted to make a quick guide on how to train your pet for beginners. So to start off, if you go to Explore, Map of Neopia, and then we're going to start off with Croc Island. This is where I recommend any beginners actually start because you don't start the game with many Neopoints. So this is really the cheapest way to start training your pet. So you click on the Academy over here in Croc Island, and what you're going to need are doubloons, and these are much cheaper than code stones. So click on courses, and you'll see a chart here. So if you're a beginner, your pet level, and you can see it on the side here. Mine's currently level 29, but you'll start at level 1. So for 10 and under, if your Neopet is level 10 and under, mine's 29 right now, so I'd be in this category. But if you're just starting out, you should be 10 and under, and it should cost you 1 doubloon coin as long as your pet is level 10 and below. So what you do is you go to courses, as I just said, and then you scroll down, and you could say, please select a course. So you could pick strength, defense. We're going to skip agility because it's not really that important, but the main focus you should be focusing on are strength, defense, level, and endurance. So to start off, right now it would cost me 5 because my pet is a higher level, but it would cost you guys only 1 doubloon. And you could train any one of your stats as long as, well, for strength and defense, you could train it to double your level. So, for example, if you're level 29, you could train your strength up to 58 and your defense up to 58. You could train your endurance up to 3 times that. So right now I could train my endurance up to 87 because that would be 3 times 29. So each of you guys will have different starting stats depending on your pet. But what you're going to want to do is probably get to level like 7 or 8 and then start training the stats. So strength, defense, endurance. The reason I say 7 or 8 and not like 9 or even 10 is because if you do like scratch cards or a random event or a fairy quest, Cold Sand Shrine, there's a lot of ways you can get random levels, and that'll put you over that tier into the next one, and it's going to cost you a little bit more and more time. So the goal, if you're trading, is to maximize your stats in that tier of cost. So you want to get as many stat points as you can in this tier first before increasing your level to 11 and you fall into this category. So ideally, eventually you get your level to 10, your strength to 20, your defense to 20, and your HP or endurance to 30 before leveling up or before training your level stat to this next tier of training. So that's the basics of how you train it. The catch here is that it's cheaper, but it takes longer to actually train. But if you're not really worried about speed leveling, then just go with this. This is your best route. Especially when you're sleeping, you can just do a quick training here for 8 hours. And even 5 doubloons is not even that expensive. I think it's a few thousand Neopoints. Now, the other way you could train, it's quicker, but more expensive. So if you go to Explore again, Map of Neopia, and then you go to Mystery Island, you're going to go to Training School here. And this is the other place you can train your pet as a beginner. So again, you can go to courses, and here's an example too, as I mentioned before. If your pet, let's say it's level 50 with strength of 75 and endurance of 120, and you want to train strength, you need to get your level up to half your endurance before you can do that. So keep that in mind when you're training. So anyway, the chart here is actually level 20 and under. So if you, I would still suggest you stick with the Swashbuckling Academy if you don't have many Neo points. But if you have a decent amount of Neo points and you want to spend them, this is a good place to go. So if you're level 20 and under, for any stat, it only costs 1 code stone. Now, code stones could be 3,000, maybe like actually 2,200. I think is the cheapest one for the Bry, all the way up to 18,500 for 1 code stone. So this is why it's risky. You don't know which one you're going to get when you do the training. And I'll just do this as an example right now. I'm just actually finishing doing some endurance, and right now I'm at 55 strength, 55 defense, and there's a reason I'm at this, and I'll go over that in a second. But before I do that, I'm just going to show you how I do it the training. So I'll select a course of endurance. You only could choose 2 code stones because I'm in this tier of level 21 to 40. And then here's an example. So I have a Vo code stone that I need to get and a Bry code stone. So the Vo is, I think, around 6,000. So this is actually, 8,000, 8,500. So, but in any case, it's not the EO code stone, which is 18,500. So we're going to buy 1 of each code stone here, Vo and Bry. So it's going to cost me about 10, 11,000 Neo points. Once you buy them, you go back, you pay, click here to pay, and then the timer runs for, in my case, it's 3 hours. In your case, it would be um, 2 hours. So still much quicker than the Academy, which is 4. So this is just a quicker way to train. I would recommend you stick with the Swashbuckling Academy until you get a decent amount of Neo points. That's just my advice. And now the question becomes, why are we training our stats? Why are strength and defense and endurance so important? So if you go to the battledome and you can click on your stats, you can see here I have 64 HP or endurance, 55 attack, or it's called strength, and 55 defense. So the reason I train to, let's start with the HP. The reason I train HP is it's the amount of hit points you have. And once you get attacked, you lose hit points. Once you lose all your hit points, you lose the battle. And then you have to re-heal with a healing potion outside of battle. Attack, it affects how much damage you do. And defense affects how much you reduce damage by. So now this is multiplied, the attack and defense. These are multipliers that help your weapons and your defense. So my shield would be affected by defense, and Turn Tooth and Scroll of Ultranova and the Scarab Ring will be affected by the attack. So right now I have 55 attack, and it's very specific. So there's, if you go to the battlepedia.jellyneo.net, there's a list here of how much damage per icon that you'll deal. This is the strength. So being that I have 55 to 84, I have 55, I'll do 2 times damage of whatever item I'm actually using. So if I go to the weapons here, so I'm using the Scroll of Ultranova as an example because it's a cheap and probably the best beginner weapon you could use. It does approximately 3 icons of damage of air, 3 of fire, and 3 of light. Now, combined, it's about 9.8 icons of damage. So we'll just round it up to 10 for the sake of this tutorial. So if you do, let's say, 10 icons of damage from this weapon, and I have the multiplier of 2 damage, of 2 times damage, I'll be doing 18 damage each time I use this. Now, if you're just starting out and you have 7 or less strength, that will only do about, well, if we're saying, so if we're saying 10 and I multiply it by 2, I'll be doing 20 damage. If you have a weapon that does 10 damage like that, and you only have 7 or less strength, you only do 5 damage per attack. So that's why it's so important to have not only a good weapon, but high strength to multiply that damage. Defense works the same way, except that it cancels out damage. So if someone's going to deal 5 icons of damage to you, let's say the leaf shield blocks 13 icons, 5 earth, 5 water, and 3 physical. So if you have, for me, I have 55 strength, so, and I'll just go to the defense because it'll show you more clear. It's the same thing. So I have 55 defense, and it will multiply my shield's effectiveness by 2. So instead of blocking 13 icons of damage, I actually could block 26 of those specific types. Now it gets a little bit more complicated because there's different types of icons. And there's air, earth, fire, or air, earth, dark, light, fire, water, and physical. So you have 7 icons here, and it depends on the items you attack with and defend with, because each item has their own specific types that they defend or attack with. But just talking about pure damage, if your weapon does 10 damage, you have a multiplier of 2 due to 55 strength. Then you'll do the 20, and if you have a shield that reduces damage by, let's say, 15 icons, and you have 55 defense, it will multiply that by 2, and you'll defend 30 damage. So those are the basics. So pretty much it's, your strength will increase your damage, your defense will reduce the amount of damage you take, and this proves true for abilities, not only weapons and shields. And then endurance is your HP or hit points, and that will keep you longer in battle before you die. Now I'll just show you real quick, and I'll fight an easy challenger, just how this works, and we'll fight the Chia Clown on hard. So we're not going to attack the first turn. Let's just use this trumpet, which doesn't do much damage. Okay. Now I didn't defend any damage, so I took 2 air, 2 water, and 2 physical. So 6 damage, and then the Chia Clown actually does, I think, 1.5 icons of damage. So it's in this range here, 1.5. So that's why he does the weapon damage that you see there, the 6 icons, and another 50% on top of that. Now let's go to the Scroll of Ultranova. So, like I said before, it does 9 to 10 damage, and I could deal 2 times as much damage per weapon. So I did 20 damage right there. So that's the 10 damage times the 2, and that's a 1 shot on the Chia Clown. I'm going to play him one more time and show you the Leaf Shield to show you what blocks. I'm going to heal as well, just to... So he did 3 physical damage because you get the 50% extra damage. And my Leaf Shield blocked 3 damage of that. We'll fight again and see what other damage we could block. He did 5 damage, and I blocked all of that. So that's the basics, and that's why you want to train your pet if you do the battledome. And battledome is also a great way to get Neopoints and weapons. Neopoints and items that you could sell for like 30, 40,000 Neo points if you're lucky. I've been doing the Krillodon Defender on easy, and I've been getting a lot of Neo points that way. So that's the basic tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. But that is about it. So thanks for watching, and good luck with your pet.